All right, let's clarify first.
What? All right.
These aren't planned, right? So we want to make this. We want to show people that like we're just having open dialogue. We're discussing things. This is just like two. This is just two random assholes talking about stuff, right? So then what he said is, well, we're just gonna switch off picking topics. So like 1 week he does one, I do one, and we're completely unprepared for the person's topic. So you can see just an actual genuine reaction and opinion on the things that we bring up. And so I've told you about this one before, but I know you have not read up on it or researched it. So I'll do today, and today we'll do Neo Feudalism.
Oh, so you're trying to make me look stupid?
No, because I'll give you all I'll break it down for you first before we get into it.
Okay, Neo Feudalism.
Neo Feudalism.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, Neo Feudalism.
All right, I'm not going to spell it because I'm going to.
All right, so feudalism. People don't know what feudalism is. Feudalism is essentially the.
Bro, I don't know what
feudalism is. The system we had in medieval times. It was rule under the monarchy, like rule under the crown, ruling under a king or a queen. Also known as like rule under nobles, the vassal system, a monarchy, an oligarchy. So basically, what medieval times were. You had the peasant class, and then you had the noble class, right? You had the king. Below him, you had the lords, the ladies, and then you had where the word landlord comes from is literally the feudal system. Comes from medieval times. Your landlord.
Okay.
The lord of the land, peasant. So, essentially, the whole gist of neo-feudalism, the whole theory behind it is that things have become we're pretty much don't live in a democracy anymore now that essentially we are living in an oligarchy again. If you don't know what an oligarchy is control of the many, rule over the many by the few, right? So people talk about the 99% and the 1%, or like
generally like in an oligarchy that would be from the rich.
It would be from the elite class. What we refer to as the elites nowadays. The elite, the upper, the rich, the wealthy, the people who have money, sway, control, power, influence, all of the above.
And the difference between like oligarchy system and a neo-feudalism system would be what?
Essentially we're saying we're in an oligarchy now, and we are essentially where the peasants were in medieval times. We've almost come full circle back to that, and now we're in neo-feudalism, new feudalism, feudalism 2.0. We're entering a feudalistic state again, because there's such a disproportionate, there's such a huge divide between the people who rule and control everything, the elites who have all the power, money, wealth, influence, etc., and then the rest of us, that we are peasants. You and me, we are peasants. The most of the general population, we're the slave class, we're the peasant class, we're the worker, drones, the bees, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Is that good enough?
Yeah. I guess I just get to clarify what the difference between an oligarchy and feudalism would be.
Feudalism is the style of society that it's in.
King and queen, whereas oligarchy there's no king or queen.
So in a monarchy, it's the king and the queen, and in an oligarchy, like Russia's a good example of an oligarchy. Oligarchy is like the wealthy elite class controlling. So monarchy is king and king, one ruler, and then everyone's broken down under him. Oligarchy is where we're at. It's an upper class of people. But even in the feudal noble system, there was the king and the lords and the ladies and the princes and et cetera, et cetera. They're very closely related.
And again, though, but then a difference would be then the oligarchy is basically because it is money. Like you can make it to the oligarchy system, whereas in the monarchy system, it is a king, queen, and noble.
Okay, yeah,
so
that's
you can't
that's a
really
good point.
like that one. You're really not going up. Whereas oligarchy system,
that's a good point.
You kind of can break into it.
Yes,
an example.
Very,
of today,
very, very hard though. Who would break into it?
Well, but let's give example of today. It would be the Elon Musk.
No, he was born into a billionaire family.
Elon Musk was born.
He was born into a rich family. Yeah. He made himself a billionaire, and I like the guy, but he's not. He was already born into a rich family.
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos, which I recently found out. One of his, I believe it was his father, was a high up guy in the intelligence world. So people think he's a plant now, that he had help. That sure, he worked hard to build Amazon, but a lot of people think that he was put on by the powers that be, by the oligarchy, so to speak. And you can call it a conspiracy theory if you want, or you can go look it up. But so those two, I'm just shooting off the top of my head. Like I said, those two, I don't personally know. I don't think they. I love Elon Musk. I do. I think he's great. But I don't. The only person I would say, maybe Carlos Slim, the guy who owns Telcel from Mexico, but I don't know. Maybe he came from a super wealthy Mexican family too. Who's like a true, genuine billionaire you can think of that came from absolutely nothing?
I would have to.
I don't know.
Look that one up.
We all know old evil Billy Gates is not one. I don't know, man. I don't have one. But the whole point is are we entering, I guess the neo-feudalism is are we entering feudalism 2.0? Are we in neo-feudalism right now? Do you think that I know you can work your way up in America still, but we talked about this just the other week. It's way harder to. It's getting way harder to. And like your boy Galloway, Professor Galloway likes to state, they're hoarding everything here and they're making it way harder for everyone here to get to here. It's an incredibly hard leap to make. So are we the peasant class? And then,
Well, okay. So first question: was it ever easy? Was it ever easy to get to the whatever we want to call the elite class? I'm trying to go back in my head and think of like 20s, 30s, 40s. I mean, capitalism in America has only been around for so long. This country's so young. It's very hard to, kind of pick it apart too much.
Right.
And you go into the 1800s, you're just like, well, what? I mean, we weren't anything yet.
But feudalism dates back a long way.
Right. So we have history of that. There's actual statistics and history to that. But capitalism, the way it's being done today, is such a new idea. And
you still think we're in capitalism right now?
I think it's transferring. I don't think it's like, here's what I do think it is. Yes, I think we are still in capitalism. Yes, absolutely. Capitalism unchecked will be a terrible system.
It's a tyranny, like any other system.
So what I think it's becoming is more corrupt. That's what I think it's becoming.
It's already become. It has already became.
Fair enough. Yes, it has. Now, can you still make it out? Absolutely. People do it every day.
Yeah.
And people do it all the time. And the biggest, the most amount of millionaires, I think, self-made millionaires ever made to date, and still going, and everything else. Real estate. It's real estate.
Yeah, real estate's a big one.
It's the one. It's the number one way that anybody can save money, buy their first building, apartment, whatever it may be. You start renting it out. You get tax shelters, and you just keep going. You can become a millionaire. Like, you absolutely can. It's not, don't
play
get
the system
over
it's given you.
Yeah, and so that's where I lean, that it's still a capitalist society. It's still a working capitalist society.
You can't be in capitalism and have an oligarchy at the same time, though, because I would say we're in an oligarchy right now, and I think it's pretty obvious to a lot of people we're in an oligarchy. We're definitely in an oligarchy now. We are the many controlled by the few. You can't really deny that at this point.
Yeah, so I think, yes, we can think about it differently. I mean, that for me starts to get into politics rather than, I think that's...
Capitalism is an economic structure, whereas you think in oligarchy is not a political structure. They're both societal structures.
Yeah, but I think our problem with it becoming an oligarchy is just that our politicians no longer work for us. They're not scared of us, and they no longer work for us. So that's what's led to this oligarchy.
Yeah. Our own cowardice is what's led to it. We don't drag these motherfuckers in the streets and tar and feather them anymore.
Well, hey, I'm not willing to get my head chopped off. No one wants to be the first head that that gets lopped off real quick.
Yep, it's true.
It's a lot of those heads that
it's got to be everybody all at once
and get exactly.
But that's why they keep us all divided with race, religion, politics, ideology, trans, etc. On and on and on and on. Keep us divided.
It's a whole nother way. It's a whole nother conversation to go down. But I don't know. I guess what I'm saying, my point right now would just be I don't think it's a full-on oligarchy. No, I think you can make it up there slowly. Real estate is the number one way to do it. Open businesses, like I said, I would have thought Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. I mean, again, I don't know where they came from, but it certainly seems like they rose on their own, whether they had backers or not. Even if Elon Musk had backers, man, he still built all of these phenomenal things that people use today, and that's the number one. That's real business innovation, and those people should be rewarded with ungodly amounts of money. Like when you make something that everybody wants to go out and use,
solve problems. When you solve problems, you get rewarded handsomely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So and again, without all the research, and I'm not totally aware of what Elon Musk has come from, but he was PayPal, right? Like all these things that he was creating to get to where he is today. now he's doing SpaceX. I mean, it's dude.
Yeah.
He's
He's the
creating
man. No, I
stuff
agree.
that-
He's the man. He's either the man or is the greatest super villain in disguise ever to exist in history of humanity.
That'll be.
All right, so let me give you a more specific one then. Back in the day, under the feudal system, most people worked under the sharecropping system. Sharecropping is where your landlord owned the land. You got to work the land, and you had to give him a huge chunk of your harvest. But you had no ownership in the land. So back in the feudal system, all the peasants in the villages, they didn't own their land, and you had to pay your taxes, right? You had to pay your sharecrop taxes and all of the taxes associated to the crown, to the royalty. What happened if you didn't pay your taxes to your rulers? They sent their goons to attack you, arrest you, imprison you, and kill you, maybe, right? Okay?
Okay.
That's his medieval times. Have you heard me say this one before? Is that why you're laughing?
No, I'm laughing.
Okay.
Wait, you're describing medieval times, or
Exactly.
are you talking about the IRS?
There we go. So here it is. And this is where people are like, meh. Okay, let's go modern day society. Oh, I did good, and I made a bunch of money. I bought my house. I own my house outright. Okay, sure you do. You got to pay insurance and taxes and this and that. You have to pay property taxes to the government, to the upper echelon, to the oligarchy, to the IRS, to the feds, to whoever you want to call it. You pay it to the people who truly own your land, right? Mm-hmm. What happens if you don't pay those guys? Mm-hmm. The same fucking thing that used to happen in medieval times. They send their goons to come arrest you, attack you, raid your house, and shoot your dog or kill you. There's plenty of evidence of it. So tell me how that is not a perfect example of neo-feudalism and that we're not in neo-feudalism now. You don't own your land. You buy that piece of land and that house and you pay off every cent of it. If you don't pay your taxes to the feds, they come and they fuck your asshole, and there's nothing you can do about it. Right?
That wasn't a little bit spoken harshly.
I mean,
how do you really feel about it?
I mean, yeah, fuck yeah, it's spoken harshly because people should be upset about it.
I agree. All right, so I agree. I mean, there's nothing to disagree about.
There's nothing to disagree about.
Yeah, the hard one. I think the hard one for me on that one, and I would have to look up why property taxes never end. Hopefully, there's a good reason why that I just don't know about.
Well, yeah, because they mismanage our money and they just got to keep stealing from us.
So, I mean, yeah, basically, because you do buy a property, you still, no matter what, forever have to pay a property tax. So, technically, you really never own it, I guess.
You never do. You're not technically.
You're paying a partial
do not own
rent.
it.
You're paying a partial rent.
You're still paying rent.
For forever.
And our friends who own property here, and if you own property in areas where values are high, you literally are still paying rent. The taxes versus the cost of your property now, people are averaging about a grand a month or more on a valued property here.
Yeah. Well, taxes have they are out of control, and that'd be another nice thing to kind of wrangle in, and again, a whole nother conversation to be had. But they're out of control. They're absolutely. I mean, they are out of control, and you know what? Here's the thing. Actually, I don't even want to say they're out of control. Yeah, I think they're out of control.
They're out of control.
But you know what? They're misused.
Well, of course.
That's more important to me than the fact that
that there's so many of them.
That there's or that it's 50% of whatever, and that then.
Well, it's not actually 50%.
Well, the highest, by the time state of California and federal government.
But the feds have a sliding scale. If you don't make a lot of money, you're only paying I think at the lowest is 13, 15% or something.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking about the upper.
Yeah.
The upper
but yeah,
wealth.
they're taxing us to death. They really are.
Yep, it's a game. It's just turned into such a game of, cat and mouse and adding this tax and that tax and this and that, and it's just an underhanded way to get more money without having to let the people vote on it and
that
say,
and inflation
and say, well, where is it even going? What are we doing? Wait, okay,
it's being wasted.
Well, they say they'll take a
wasted.
tax. Here's a good example: San Diego. We have a tourist tax.
Do we? Did you look this up?
Yeah, hotels. Hotels have to pay
The hotels do? Yeah, that's true.
So the hotels.
Where does that go?
Well, and they just charge it to the consumer.
Yeah.
They just charge it to the
Why are there still potholes on all our fucking roads then?
And why? Yeah. And I mean, our values of our homes are millions of dollars in this damn town.
Yeah.
And why is it not? Why do we not have perfect streets?
Yeah.
So the money gets reallocated to this and reallocated to that.
It doesn't. We're being robbed. It's the same. Then this goes back to the neo-feudalism thing. The upper class is taxing us and literally just filling their coffers, just like the monarchy, just like the old oligarchies used to do. They fill their coffers. They enrich themselves. They steal from us, the peasants, the working class, and then they just make themselves richer.
Yeah.
So it's just another example of we're in Neo Feudalism. We're either right on the cusp, right into it, or we're already there.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense, though? Like,
No,
what
it
you're
does.
saying is just
It does.
another example of neo-feudalism.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. The ruling class is taxing the shit out of us instead of providing us with the goods and services and help that we're supposed to get. They don't. And we go, oh, we bitch and we moan, and they go, quiet, peasants. Eat your bread and watch your sports.
They have become they pander to us in their commercials, which is fucking so gross to watch.
Yeah.
It's so middle school.
Yeah.
You remember middle school when I ran for ASB in middle school, and like you promised.
Of course you did. Of course you did, you fucking nerd.
Bro, you know I ran for treasurer, right?
Yes! Yes!
Yeah.
Do I make the Jewish joke now?
Yeah,
Can I make... Oh, God.
Come on, of course I did.
You Jew bastard, you ran for treasure. That is the most beautiful thing I think I've ever heard. Man.
Truly, I just did it because it got you out of one period of class, and everybody wanted to be president or vice president, right? No one ran for treasurer, so I was like, oh, 8th grade treasurer.
You're like, I'm in.
I'm in, so I'm a sure win.
Did you win?
Well, of course, no one.
Was the budget balanced?
I stole it all.
As in true fashion, as you learned from the people above you. But no, I mean, these things it is just examples of like we're in a neo-feudalistic state. And then when we don't do anything about it, because what can we do? Because nobody wants to be the first one to get their head lopped off. Even us just talking about it, you and me, like we get nervous about certain topics, which shouldn't be that way. You should always be able to openly discuss anything in society. That's how you deal with shit. That's how you work through things. That's how you change people's minds on things. That's how you grow and develop as a society, not oppression and censorship and scaring people and ruining people just for speaking their minds.
It is kind of crazy that we can't all at least come together on and agree on that one, right? I get that we can't agree on so many things, and it's fine. We're not all supposed to agree on things. Like,
no.
We're supposed to have a conversation, but how come we can't all just get together and go, okay, can we see some budgets, please? Can we, before you tax me again?
Yeah.
How hard is that for everybody? I think I'd be hard pressed to find anybody that would say, can I raise your taxes again?
Yeah.
They'd be, dude, really? More?
More?
For what?
Yeah. And we don't get to vote on a lot of this stuff either. I'll give you two examples, and these are kind of they're not super applicable and they're not really important, but they show a perfect example of we're ignored. They ignore us. One, the parking meters we just got installed here. We didn't get to vote on that. Everyone came out and was completely against it. People were going, I wouldn't say protesting, but they were at the city meetings. No resident in the beach area wanted these new parking meters. The city said, too bad. Screw you guys. We don't care what you think. Go away, peasants. Number two, daylight savings in California. We actually voted to eliminate daylight savings, and it passed, I believe it passed in 2016.
Yeah, it passed a while ago.
So we passed it a while ago, and you know what our California governor and our California government has done since then? Nah. Just straight up, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, we're good.
That shit's nuts.
Like, nah, we're good. Oh, you guys voted to pass that? Yeah, sick one, peasant. Beat it. Like, it's true though. Like, what? How do you explain that? How do you come to terms with that one?
Even that one, and not to go down that rabbit hole, but what's that one all about? Why
keep it? Energy. So the study they did on it was if we eliminate it, we're going to save tons and tons of energy consumption and costs and spending. And so the conspiracy theory is that they don't want to end it because they do want to continue us turning on those lights, using more energy longer to generate more income for our monopolistic power company, SDG&E, who, undoubtedly is tied in with our douchebag government. I mean,
that one seems far-fetched.
How does that? But how so? The maths.
I don't know. I'd have to think that one through. If you're gonna turn the lights on by shifting an hour of time of daylight from at night to in the morning. Lights are going on at some point. I guess maybe lights go on at night earlier if the sun.
It's the getting darker earlier. It's the fallback. It's the getting darker earlier that makes the difference. So when you do the math, when you take an hour and you take the kilowatt hours, when you put it in megawatt hours, and you do the entire state of California, or much less the entire fucking United States, the numbers add up really quickly. It's like how the bank steals pennies off every transaction.
Yeah.
The numbers go from pennies to millions, billions. Big numbers. Goes from small to big real quick. The maths. The math does math.
I'd have to see that. I'd have to see it. But if, I mean, like I said, why that would make sense if that was true. If that was it, then it would make sense. And then again, it's like something to kind of.
But again, we voted for it, and they just went, nah.
You ever feel like we're just the frog in the warm
pot of
water?
boiling water?
Yeah,
that's exactly where we are.
I mean, it's just a matter of they just kind of keep going. As soon as we get pissed off, they go, well, we'll stop here.
Yeah.
And they wait a little while.
And
then they kind of just get back to like kind of pushing.
There's some really scary ones some interviews with some Holocaust survivors actually, and this was like right around the time all the COVID stuff, and that is the exact analogy some of these Holocaust survivors said they made. They said, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
Like Nazi Germany didn't just fucking flip in one day. It's not like you woke up one morning and people were hunting down Jewish people.
No.
This happened one tiny little step at a time, and no one did anything. Oh, it won't get worse. Oh, it's okay. And they made that exact comparison to where we are now in our current societal state. And these are the people who lived through this who are telling us, hey, you guys need to wake the fuck up and pay attention. You're the frog in the pot of boiling water, and you better stop. You better turn the fucking oven range off soon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna find out what it's like.
And there's something to be said about that. It's just impossible to do. It's impossible to it's when do you care? You care when it affects you directly, and
pretty much.
And if it doesn't, you sort of, and even then, you sort of get used to things, don't you? You just kind of get used to it. So it's a pendulum, right? That pendulum's got to swing pretty far before there's a big major kickback, and usually that's called what? A revolution. So there's been those throughout time, and it's an ebb and flow of life. I feel like it's inevitable.
Yeah.
You can't have static perfection at all times. It's going to start to lean one way. There's going to start to be corruption. The corruption's going to get worse. Then it's going to get so bad people get pissed off. Then it's going to get so bad there's a revolution and everything comes crumbling down.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. But so let's relate it back, because I want to keep relating stuff back to Neo Feudalism, right? So let's relate it back. Does the pendulum even ever really swing? Or is that all just manufactured? And what I mean by that is the same people who I refer to when I was talking about old school feudalism, the British crown, essentially. You know, when most people think of medieval times, they think of Europe, okay? And in particular, probably England. The same people, the same bloodlines, the same guys who controlled the peasants back then, those same bloodlines, they're still in power over there, and they're still in power in a lot of our banking systems, and they're still in power in a lot of the shit. So did the feudalism really ever end? Did the revolutions and everything really crumble and rebuild, or was that all just manufactured and allowed to happen, and really they never lost control?
Something to be said for that, yeah. Can't disagree with that.
Yeah. So. Fuck, did we ever leave feudalism, I guess? We did, because America was such a prosperous, beautiful place when we did bail England and go, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Well, not we. When they came and slaughtered us and then made a great country, slaughtered us, But it was a prosperous nation, you know? And so maybe something did change at that point, but now those same guys who were ruling over the peasants, they're ruling over the peasants again.
So, well, they're okay, and I would agree. Like, there's the people of power.
It's a good one, right?
Yeah. Well, and the people of power are going to keep grabbing for power, right? There's some people who want it and just that's who they are.
You're never going to relinquish it.
Yeah, and so you're always going to have those people. So I guess a good example would almost be like money. Like, if you took all the money of all the wealth right now, all the millionaires and all the billionaires, let's just say everybody that has $1 million or more, right? All of it. Took it all, equally distributed it across the board to everybody, it wouldn't take very long for all of that money to just...
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's super true.
Right back.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, right back to it. Now, you could say, oh, well, that's because they have all the knowledge. Very much so. But let's even just say, they're also the ones who like to play the game.
Yeah.
Like, a very good example, I like the game of, like, building businesses and having fun and that, like,
creating things. I like creating shit out of thin air and seeing it come to fruition.
Yeah, that's, like, I like that.
Yeah.
I got surf buddies who
Who don't
want nothing to do with that.
They just want to cruise, bro.
They want to cruise.
They want to cruise.
They want to drink beer. They want to enjoy this beautiful earth and the time they have on it, and
that's okay too.
And God bless you for it.
Yeah.
Like, right. But we're all like want and like different things, and we're attracted to different things. So I mean, back to like the power struggle. There's always going to be that, and yeah. And do I think there's people that still have a bloodline through the years? Of course. Of course, I'm not going to act like...
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and it just is what it is. I mean, that's why we all escaped from Europe, came here. Every migrant was just like, I want a new opportunity in this new world.
Yeah.
And it was great. And then it only takes a few hundred years.
A couple generations.
To
fuck it up.
Well, before people are... Usury. That's actually the word I was looking for.
Whole nother. We talked about this the other day. Whole nother topic.
Well, it doesn't take long for a perfect, beautiful system. The way the system was supposed to be set out, right?
Yeah.
The way we all, the Constitution, and that we get to pick our representatives, and they are supposed to, if we want things to change or we don't like it, we tell our representatives, or we don't let them back in.
Our constituents represent us.
It was a beautiful laid out.
No, wait. We're the constituents, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're the constituents.
It was a beautiful laid out system. It doesn't take long for the people who want power to get in power, corrupt it, and hold it.
That's exactly where we are now.
Because they're the ones who want it the most.
Yeah.
So that's the other side to this coin.
And what's that known as? An oligarchy.
Did you just mind fuck me, dog?
I wanted you to say what you said. I was making you say it. I got mind control over Debo. When he be telling me to be quiet, but when he leave, I be talking.
Shout out to P. Diddy. I just mind fucked you.
Where is he? I saw a thing that they logged his private jet flying to an island that does not have extradition to the United States, and he's just stayed there.
Bro, he has money and power.
Yeah,
we're gonna see him. We're gonna see him in court in 2045.
Yeah, right. Exactly, and he'll get a slap on the wrist
in 2045.
There's a video of him literally dragging a bitch down the hallways and shit, torturing her like this motherfucker should be just dead or locked up, one or the other. But no, up the ruling class, bro. He's up there with the elites. That Hollywood shit.
Pretty up there
He's pretty up there, dude.
Up there, bro.
Epstein's homie. That's your boy. Not your boy. Not your boy, but as in P. Diddy's boy. Epstein.
Yeah, okay.
Epstein. Yeah. Fuck, man.
I ain't been to no island.
Yeah, I've been to some islands, but never that one. Yeah. Fuck.
Shit, yeah. I agree with you. And I think the only thing we can do, so let's get to the brass tacks of it. Doesn't matter where we are. How do we get out of it? How do we change it? Like that's
okay. There's things you probably don't want me to say on here, and then I'm probably not allowed to say. But I can tell you one thing: at this point, we're probably not going to vote our way out of it. Now, I don't think I'm allowed to suggest other means that might be, not very palatable.
We're going to cut this section out.
But I mean, in reality, it's clear we're not going to vote our way out of it. So what do we do?
I'd really hope we're smart enough and intelligent enough not to resort to violence to get this done.
Hopefully, we shouldn't have to.
It wouldn't really take it. I mean, it could be as simple as a bunch of podcasts start doing really well and media pick it up, and guys like Joe Rogan and people with far reaches just go, hey, look, we're all going to band together. We're not going to go to work for the next 2 weeks, and this needs to show the government we're done, and we need to start electing people that are going to listen to us again. I think the's much better ways to do it than violence.
There is, and you're right. There is better ways.
Violence is absolutely pointless.
It's the last resort, but sometimes it's necessary.
That one will come in, like if nothing happens, that one will happen in 30 years.
But the reality is that there's never going to be a violent uprising or any real kind of uprising in any way, shape, or form until things are truly so bad,
right?
That that people are starving, dying, like shit, like I don't know. UK is pretty close right now. You've been watching what's going on out in the UK with the riots and all the Muslim immigrants versus the UK citizens. It's fucking wild what's going on out there right now.
Yeah,
like they need to rise up and put out some self-defense and do something about what's going on. They're losing their country.
Yeah,
it's pretty blatant, bro. And that's another topic, but holy shit, you watch what's going on out there and you're like, dude, you see why we want to keep our guns, you guys? Yeah. You see why we don't want to give up our Second Amendment? Like, It's real. It's real shit. These things are set in place for a reason. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they say, oh, America was built on death and genocide and destruction and robbery and it's occupied land. And sure, all those things are true, but, they did set forth the parameters for a really good country and it did work really fucking well for a long time.
Well, it's supposed to be all based, a lot of it based on checks and balances.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's based upon.
Kind of a beautiful checks and balances of, nope, you got to do this to do this. You got to check certain boxes and ultimately voting for your elected officials that are looking out for the best of you,
that are actually going to represent you,
and what we want and need. Here's another way it really changes. And nowadays, because media is losing a big handle on it, and everybody knows it.
Yep.
And especially the younger generation totally sees through the bullshit.
Do you think they do?
I do.
Well, why do they buy into all this like bullshit ideology of leftism and trans this that, and we're victims and modern feminism? I mean, I don't know if they saw through it, they probably wouldn't be subscribing to a lot of that bullshit.
Because ideology is phenomenal when you're young. That's easy.
Yeah, that's true. I guess
ideology is awesome.
Yeah.
And it should be left alone. There should be ideology. That's great. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that news is no longer news, it's opinion. That's what I'm talking about.
It's propaganda. It's not even opinion.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Whatever we want to call it, it's not news anymore. There's no just there's no just staying as center as possible. No. I was thinking about this like years ago. I go, you know what would kill it right now? You know what would absolutely kill it? Is somebody that just literally is centered and stays
That's what Rogan
centered.
Is.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to start killing it.
But they demonize the shit out of him. They try to make him look as bad as humanly possible.
Yeah.
They say he's promoting eating horse paste and that he's a right-wing conspiracy, this, that. They try to make him look as bad as they possibly can.
Yeah, and the truth will win in the end. It's just about more people. And I think they are.
Sure, you would hope so, right?
I think people are. It will. It will prevail. And it's gonna get better. And it is just a matter of waiting it out. But I think people are noticing it. But it's always great because the next generation usually sees that stuff. Like a lot of this older generation, we're kind of stuck in it. You know our parents and even got people that are 10 years older than us. They're just sort of stuck on Fox News, or they're stuck on NBC or whatever, right? They're just stuck in they're stuck in their ways, and it's usually the younger generation that kind of starts to see the bullshit.
You're right.
And then they're the ones that kind of change the rules, so to speak. They're the ones that end up changing things, right? It's always the generation that's down from you that really comes up and goes, no, that was bullshit. We saw that from a long time ago.
Yeah.
How did you guys not see that? And I've talked to my mom about this stuff, and then you just go, Mom, how do you not see this?
Yeah.
How do you not? And they're so used to the old ways where they.
That's exactly what it is. And actually, I brought this up to somebody a while ago. I might even told you. I don't know if I did. You're right. The way you put it is perfect. The younger generation gets it. The older generation does not, because the older generation grew up in the time when the news was the news. People who grew up with Dan Rather and Walter Cronkite and actual news, where they're like, here's the facts, here's what happened, we present you with all the information, go ahead and make your decision, tell me what you think, whatever you want to do. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
So the older people haven't realized yet that the news is just straight up propaganda at this point. That there is no news, that it's propaganda, and what other people don't know, and what's crazy is like, nowadays, anytime someone says something you don't agree with, they go, that's a conspiracy theory. But a lot of this is real. There used to be a law on the books that the media was not allowed to propagandize American citizens. Obama repealed that law. Obama took that law away.
I've looked into that.
This is a fact. You can look this one up.
I know. I've looked into that media thing, and there's more to it than that, just like all of it is.
But it's true. There used to be a law in the books that they were not allowed, that our media was not allowed to propagandize our citizens, and Obama's the one who got rid of that, and ever since then, propaganda has fucking run rampant.
Well, and all right, so we can go down this road now.
All right, keep going.
Just talking about that law that you changed. I tried reading it. Like, I'm no lawyer, man. But generally, there's always like lots of reasons why laws get changed. I think people kind of lose their minds sometimes and go, "Oh, this law got changed." It's like, well, wait a minute. Why did it get changed? Well, I don't know.
It's not a good thing that law got changed, bro. You should read up on it more.
I would like to. Yeah. I want to. I'm just bringing up a point that a lot of times there's reasons and purposes behind it rather than just reading the headline.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
most people don't. Most people don't read anything.
Obama makes propaganda legal.
Yeah.
Wait. What? Tell me all about the bill.
No, there isn't.
Tell me about what.
There's barely any headlines like that, though. But you know me, like I don't. You and me kind of work both the same. We'll send each other shit, and then I'll be like, oh, I don't. Come on, bro. And then then we'll actually sit down and take 10 minutes out of our day and read. That's a big problem. People don't read anymore. No one reads. They just see the headline. They go, yeah, I believe that. Whatever they told me, I believe it. That's what I think. And then they don't read anything. You know.
We kind of get what we deserve in that respect. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, look, you get what you deserve if you don't read.
Yeah.
That's kind of